To get started, we will first run Snowflake's newly built-in classification and tag feature. In Snowflake, you can access the classification and tagging UI by clicking on a schema in a database. In this case, we will use a public schema. After starting the classification job, you will see the output on each table. Let's take a look at the credit card transactions table. Notice how credit card number, customer last name, and transaction country all have associated tags. Next, we will log into Immuta and start building policies that grant users access to this table and protect sensitive data contained in it. To get started, let's pull up the credit card transaction table in Immuta. The main overview page summarizes the query activity in this table. It quickly shows the users running queries and whether those queries are accessing sensitive data. Switching to the Data Dictionary tab, we can see information about the sensitivity of the columns or classification of the table's contents. Looking at the credit card number column, you can see Immuta has automatically classified it as a credit card number. You will also see that Immuta automatically pulled in the Snowflake tags set in Horizon. Now that we've seen the classifications come in from Snowflake, let's start building a policy to control who can get access to this table and what data should be returned. In Immuta, we will first define a subscription policy. This policy type effectively controls read and write access to tables in Snowflake. In this case, we will say that anyone from the finance department should be able to execute select queries against anything that contains a payment card tag from Snowflake. Now, if we log into Snowflake as a user from the finance department, we will see that they can run a select query in Snowflake. However, this user sees sensitive information, like credit card numbers, unmasked. Let's use those Snowflake tags we found earlier to mask a credit card number. Back at Immuta, we will now build a data policy. A data policy is a row, column, or cell level policy that can modify or change what users can see. In this case, we will want to mask credit card numbers for everyone using Snowflake. In the Immuta policy editor, you will see how easy it is to create this policy. In the UI, we will build the policy using natural language, meaning you don't need to have a data engineer write custom SQL UDFs or manage this masking. For this policy, we will mask any data tagged as payment card using a hashing algorithm. Now that we've defined what we want the policy to do, we need to tell it where to apply the policy. At the bottom of the policy, you will notice how Immuta automatically apply this anywhere we find the payment card tag. Upon activation, Immuta will create all the necessary policy controls natively in Snowflake, which maximizes performance for end users. When our finance user reruns their query, you will now see all the sensitive payment card data is masked using a native Snowflake policy. Next, we will create a policy to filter according to the country codes a user can access based on their location in the identity system. Because Snowflake has already detected a country in the location country field, we can use that Snowflake object tag to dynamically build a row policy for each user, based on which countries they are authorized to see. After building this row policy, when our finance user runs a query, they will only see a subset of the countries based on the unique countries they are allowed to see. This data comes from the identity management system, meaning Immuta can build very fine-grained controls and scalable per-user policies that span any table in Snowflake, making it both precise and scalable. After all the policies have been created, we can now see how users interact with this data and run reports on who is actually querying the data contained in Snowflake tables. Immuta enables Snowflake customers to maximize their data sets by ensuring data is accessible, protected, shareable, and auditable. Immuta builds on Snowflake Horizon Catalog's features by promoting ease of use, understandability, and maintainability, so you can access and share this data faster without compromising security. Thanks.